Steakhouse filet mignons. I'm gonna show you how to do it. We've got cast iron, we've got butter, we've got garlic, we've got herbs. Welcome to Chef Jill's Chop, where I show you how to make the perfect steakhouse steaks today. All right, look at these steaks. They're beautiful. Those filet mignons, try and find ones. You know what's funny? My dad would pick out filet mignons at the store and he'd be like, I don't want the white stuff in there. He would find ones with no white inside. And I'm like, well, there's a reason. Those are $3 a pound, Dad, because the white is good. That's marbling, that's fat in there. When you cook it, it melts and adds an unctuous flavor to food. Find the white. Get the white. The more white you see, the better it's gonna be. So now, got a few things you need to have before you get started, okay? You know, you wanna have your mise en place out. There's only a couple of things, but I want you ready. So first of all, got a couple of cloves of garlic, got some fresh herbs here. I have thyme and rosemary. Those all work great. My husband's walking through. Say hi, honey. He's got the sunglasses on.
Back to work.
Back to work. So I've got some butter. It's not margarine, just butter. Just unsalted butter. And I got my steaks here. I've got a plate to rest them on when they're done. And I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees. This is how, I'm gonna show you how steakhouses do their steaks. This is how I was trained to do steaks. This is how I do them. This is how you're gonna do them. Now, one of the most important things you can have in your life, in your kitchen, is a cast iron pan. We've all had them. We have them when you go camping. You know, Grandma's got one that she makes like pineapple upside down cake and whatever. They last you 1,000 years. Don't put water in them. We'll talk about that later. Actually, I was just talking to Steven about it. He's having issues with his cast iron pans, right? Yeah. So we're going to do like a video on just how to take care of cast iron pans because he almost threw his out the window the other day. So right now I'm going to get this over medium high, high-ish heat. Let's let that start heating up. Cast iron, amazing, heavy, and adds that even heat conductivity. So no burn spots or anything like that. Let's get our steaks ready. Now, my filet mignons here, they're about 1.5 to 2 inches thick. These are big daddies right here. So we gotta season these up. So first of all, you grab your kosher salt and you go heavy. Now, here's a classic mistake people make. They'll do this side, they'll do this side, and then they're done. And that doesn't work for me because there's so much meat that has not been figured out. So I just put some salt down and I get the sides. Get the sides in there. Look at all that meat that you can now season up. Now, this is dealer's choice right here. I don't put pepper on my steaks before I cook them because I feel pepper can burn easily and adds a bitterness. I'm sure there's a million people who at some point in the comments will tell me I'm wrong. For me, I'm gonna show you when I add the pepper, but if you want to add the pepper on here, I'm not mad at you. You can do that. I just choose not to. So I know I have butter here, but I'm gonna go ahead and get a decent amount of olive oil in here first because that's what we're gonna use to sear. We're gonna add the butter before we throw it in the oven. So let that get hot, shimmery and hot and delightful. Now, I'm gonna get a couple other things ready here. We got our steaks ready to go. I got 2 cloves of garlic. Don't chop these up. Don't chop them up. Keep your life simple. Just smash them. This is just gonna flavor up the stuff in the pan. Herbs, don't pull them, just leave them. Just leave them alone, they're fine. Butter, we can cut in half here, have it ready to go. Just looking to make sure this is shimmery. I'm at 450 degrees. And honestly, when you go to any of those fancy steakhouses and you're paying $60 a steak, this is what they do. They sear it, they throw it in the oven, let it finish roasting. So that way the heat surrounds it, it all cooks together at the same time. Plus, to do huge steaks like this just in a pan, unless you like it rare, like blue rare, you're gonna end up burning the outside of it before the inside ever gets cooked. So oven-wise, it's the way to go. I'm gonna have my butter ready here, but I'm not using it yet. We're gonna wait. But I'm gonna use about 1/2 stick of butter. I know that seems like a lot, just trust me. Now, we're looking for that deep sizzle, right? So if it doesn't have it, we pull it back out. All right, I like that. Go ahead and move that around. If you don't have a cast iron pan, just use a heavy pan, something that's got some weight to it, okay? We want some weight on there so that way it sears evenly. For right now though, don't touch that. We're gonna go about 3 minutes on each side, okay? So 3 minutes starting now. All right, so at 3 minutes, I gave them a flip. Look at this crust on here, it's what I'm talking about. So we just flipped them over, okay? Now's the time. Butter, 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 butter. You go heavy on that butter, honey. Garlic, garlic. Get those herbs in there. Steven, get a close-up of this because, oh yes, fry those. Don't get too close. Fry those herbs up. Just take a little of that butter. Get it over the top here. Let that garlic infuse in there. Yes, honey. Get a little bit of that garlicky butter on top. We're gonna let that cook for just another minute on the stovetop. And then we're gonna go ahead and just pop it in the oven. We'll start it at like 5 minutes. We'll start it at 4 and check it. Beautiful, look at that. Garlicky, herby butter. Boom, it's going in the oven. So we did 3 minutes on one side, flipped it, did about 2 to 3 minutes on the other side and added some butter and stuff. Now let's get it in the oven. Make sure your skillet is oven proof. We're gonna check it after 5 minutes. Now look, one of the things you have to have in your kitchen, an instant read thermometer. Couldn't be more important. This is gonna take all the guesswork out. So if you like your steak medium rare, we're gonna stick it in. And if it's 120, we're gonna pull it. Let it rest for a little bit. That'll be perfect medium rare. So we're gonna give this 5 minutes. I'll be right back. It's been about 5 to 6-ish minutes. Like I said, mine were pretty thick. And I'm gonna bring it over for you to look at here, Steven. Now you've got this butter, these herbs that have, gotten super fried up in here, that garlic infused butter. Tip your pan and just give that a good baste for a minute. Let that just kind of sink in to the steaks. Can you smell that? Yes, so good. Butter is good, everybody. Fat equals flavor. Butter, butter, butter. Get that garlic on there. Now, you have to remember, we can't just cut into these steaks, right? You got to time this out. Because if I were to cut into these steaks, all the blood, it's about medium rare-ish right now, all the blood is going to hit your plate. That is not what we're looking for right now. We need all of that juice to redistribute. And it takes about 5 minutes. Now, maybe a little bit more, and I'll tell you, the key for me whenever I rest meat is every inch of meat, you have to rest at 5 minutes. So to me, I'll go like 5 to 8 on this bad boy because these are pretty thick. But that's why I like turkeys. You have to let rest for a half hour because they're so thick. So every time you have an inch of meat, you are looking at about 5 minutes to rest. And when you let it rest, all those juices that were pushed in the middle, they move their way back in. So that way it's perfectly juicy when you cut it open. So we basted it here. Be careful. I always try and keep something over the handle because I'm that person. That every time. So I'm gonna grab my tongs. I'm gonna get it out of this hot skillet because this is gonna continue to cook. Put it on your cutting board or on a plate. You can tent it if you want. I'm just gonna put the garlic right up here. Just go ahead and flavor that up. You can tent it if you want to keep warm. For me, it was in a cast iron pan. It's screaming hot. I'm gonna let this hang out. I'm not gonna touch it for at least 5 minutes. All right, they have been resting. Now I'm gonna show you, put the garlic on top, but I'm just letting you know, there's a lot of like butter still on here, which means things are stuck to this, which means now I do my pepper now. I do it afterwards. I'm crazy like that because it'll stick right on there. And now it's not burnt and bitter. I'm gonna do both sides. Now our steak has been resting. Let's give it a slice. Now, let's look at this for a minute. When they say cut across the grain, what does that mean? You look at the grain, can you see this? You can see it kind of running like a river this way. If I'm gonna cut with it like that, you're gonna end up with very chewy meat, no matter how tender your steak is. You don't wanna cut with it, you wanna cut against it. So, I'm gonna give that a little bit of a turn, and I'm gonna cut with it. Let's take a look. Hello, lover. Look at that. Juicy. Now the other one is a little bit thicker. Let me see. See, now that's a good medium right there. Let's take this one. Let's see, this one's a little bit thicker here. A little more pink in there. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Nice and red in the middle, but yet pink on the outside. That is gorgeous. We got to try it. Do you think my 5-year-old will eat this? Lukey! I'm getting that juicy part right in the middle. You want to try? Okay, you try this bite right here. Okay. Blow on it. That was dramatic. All right, hit it. Because you're a steak boy. You like steak. What do you think? Is it good?
I'm having this for dinner.
You're having it for dinner? You'll eat this?
Give us a rating.
Yeah, what do you rate it? The last time the gnocchi got 4 out of 4. So what do you think about this one?
I'm gonna give this 5 out of 8.
5 out of 8. I'll take it. Should you want to tell people here, what should they do to my channel?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. You should subscribe. Luke says to subscribe. You gotta do what Luke says. He's 5 years old and he's bossy.
One more thing.
Uh-oh.
Instead of saying just subscribe, that subscribe button is red.
Wait, what?
Make sure you smash it gray right now.
Smash what?
The subscribe button.
You gotta smash that subscribe button.
Gray right now.
Yeah.
Or else we'll come in your house and steal all your cookies.
Okay, go back to play. Thanks, honey, for stopping by. Anyway, we have got beautiful steak here. Steven and I are gonna eat this up. Like he said, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what anybody says anymore. None of it makes sense. Someone told me the other day my sauce slaps, and I just thought, I'm older than dirt. I don't know what that means. So what does it slap? Anyway, doesn't matter. That slaps, Steven. That's fire.
Gas.
It's gas. It's really freaking good is what it is. If you make it, go to the comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for coming to Chef Jill's Shop. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Jyll.
Hi. Oh my God.